All right, we got a new one we're gonna do today. I have two packages of some parts for the SRX, and we're gonna be doing a brake and rotor job on it, and also we're gonna be replacing a window motor. Uh, this will only be my second time doing a brake and rotor job, and I've never replaced a window motor on this vehicle before, but it shouldn't be too difficult. And I'm gonna go through the packages with you guys, and we'll get started. All right, that's the two packages. Got it from Rock Auto, as you can tell. Uh, and I'm quite certain that most people who are in the know of buying auto parts online is probably the place that you get them from. It's one of the cheapest places, and they have a lot available. And so I usually get all of my car parts from here, unless it's like something I can't wait for, that's pretty rare. But there are times where I do have to go to the auto parts store, which their markup is ridiculous. But this box right here came pretty beat up. It is pretty heavy. This one's okay. It's not as heavy, but we're gonna go through the beat up box and inspect everything to make sure it's all right. Alright, so in this box here, we have two sets of brake pads. Don't know if this is the front or the rear, but we'll figure it out once we get to it. And I am surprised it actually came with this. But I guess that's what happens when you get factory parts. And recently I've been trying to get factory parts just so I have less issues with them, as far as the parts wearing out too quickly or premature failure. But this is the other set, and these are open for some reason. But these are probably the I don't know. Let's see. These are probably the back brakes. This car is front wheel drive, so the bigger brakes are probably going to be up front. Hopefully they're the right ones. If not, then I guess I'll just send them back. And here's the little magnet it comes with. This is Kevin's Dodge built with Rock Auto parts. Alright, it's a pretty cool truck. And this is I assume two different rotors in each box. This box down here is a little damaged, as well as this one. Okay, I'm not going to open these. As far as this goes, they are also factory parts. let's go through the next box. And we have another set of rotors. Don't know if it's the front or rear. Again, I assume they're right. And down below, in this smushed up box, is the window motor. Packaging is not great on this. And this is the factory part here. And it's going to be supposed to be the driver's side window. So hopefully we don't have any issues with this. It doesn't look damaged, but we will find out once we install it. And that's the part number for it. I guess I'll show the part numbers for the other items too. So this right here is the part number for one set of the rotors. Like I said, I don't know if this is front or rear until I open it. This is the part number for these. And on the brakes, it's the part number for that. And this is the part number for the other set. And last but not least, this is Kevin's Dodge built with Rock Auto parts again. So we have two of these. One and two. So Rock Auto must really love Kevin's truck. So that's gonna be it for this unboxing right now. We're going to install these parts eventually. I don't know when, but there will be a video up about it. So I don't know if I'll do these today, these parts, but it'll be a part of this video. Definitely know that I'm not gonna do the window motor and the brake job in the same video, so that'll be separate. But for this video, I'm probably going to do the brakes and rotors. I'm not sure yet, but you'll see once you see the title of the video. All right, it's been a week since the last clip, and so we're gonna go ahead and jump into doing the brakes and rotors for the SRX. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get the car jacked up and on jack stands, and I'm gonna get the tools that I'm gonna need set out and go ahead and get started. So now we're gonna go ahead and get this wheel off, and we're going to go ahead and tear into it. Now, like I said, this will be my second time doing a brake and rotor job, so I'm not a pro, and I'll make mistakes. Somebody may do something different than I do, and mistakes just because I'm a newbie at this, but it'll be all right. We'll learn together. We're gonna go ahead and take the wheel off. We're going to use this as a chair. Alright, I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna need to take the caliper off, and there should be just 2 bolts holding it on. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like just 2. And it's gonna be a 13 millimeter. Looks like I'm gonna have to separate these separately because the actual caliper is actually held on by a bigger bolt, and it's attached to the control arm and shock. All right, so let's see what that is. All right, so that is a 19 millimeter. I know this is going to be very difficult to take apart. Yep, that is hard to take apart. Alright, so we're just going to jump back on the top of the caliper. I got both these bolts loose right here, and we should be able to pull this out and then take the top of the caliper off. Alright, so that's one bolt. That's 2. So we should just be able to pull this off, and I'm gonna get a bungee so I can hang this caliper on the strut tower. Alright, I'm back, and let's remove this boot. This, and push this boot down. Should just come off. thinking the pistons on the caliper are pushed out, and that's what's making it so difficult to come out. But we'll get it. All right, so finally got the top of the caliper off, and I have it laying back here, hanging on this bungee right here, and it's just hanging off the strut tower, as you can see up there. But what I had to do was these brakes don't look very worn, so I had to like pry it away, and it depressed the caliper a bit, and so that was the only way I was able to get the caliper off. Hopefully I can get the actual like bottom of the caliper off, so we can change the rotors. If not, then I'll just go and get a tool from the store to be able to take it off. Let's take this brake out. Alright, so that's one piece. As you see, it's really not that bad. This is the spot right here is where I had to pry with the flathead to get it to depress the piston on the caliper. But yeah, these really aren't bad at all, or this side isn't. So we'll go ahead and pull the back one off. That's the back one. These really are not that bad. So that's the back. This is the front. And these look pretty new. Wow. But the reason we're changing them is because there's been a squealing noise, and also there's a shake in the steering wheel whenever you press down on the brake. So that's usually a sign of bad rotors, and you know, the squeaky noise is usually a brake. But there's no reason not to do both whenever you're in here, in my opinion. So I'm going to try to get the back of this, the bottom of this caliper out, and I'll bring you back. So I did break these two bolts free. I'm going to go ahead and finish taking them out. I ended up finding a different socket. I'm pretty sure that's what contributed to me being able to do this. It'd be nice if I had sockets for this. Not sockets, like smaller like impact wrenches and stuff. But just haven't had the time to go ahead and like find any. And this bolt has Loctite on it. We probably should reapply the Loctite, but we're not because I don't have any. It's probably, I'll just try to put as much leverage or whatever on it as much as possible. But I'm about to pull the caliper off now. And that will be it. That's where the two bolts were. These brackets right here are the old hardware. I'm not sure if the new one came with it, the new brakes, but we'll hold on to them just in case it didn't come with it. So now we're gonna go ahead and take the rotor off. It should just, actually it's not gonna come straight off because there's this little what do you call it? It's just a screw right here, just hold it in place, I guess. Not really sure, but I'm gonna get something to be able to get this off. And I'll bring you back when I get back. This is gonna be a T27. It should just come right off. And the rotor should just pull right off. And this knot, I wonder if I can take this bolt off. Hopefully not. Alright, so I finally got the rotor off. I had to use a hammer to bang this off. It's just ridiculous. It's got to have like rust behind it because the last car I did this on was not near this tough. But we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna pull this rotor off and then go ahead and clean up what we can behind it. Put silicone on whatever we can so this doesn't happen in the future. But we're gonna go ahead and pull this off. And as I suspected, it is rusty. And I don't know why it's rusty. I'm pretty sure this rotor was on here when we got the vehicle. And we don't live in a rusty climate, but as you can see, this is like pretty rusty. And like I said, the last car that I did this on was nothing like this. So it has me worried that the other ones are gonna be harder, or just as hard, if not harder, to get this stuff replaced. But we're gonna do what we can to eliminate this issue in the future. But I'm gonna try to clean this off as best I can. This rotor, we don't have to worry about it. We're replacing it. Hopefully, if what we have is the right ones. But yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean off this rust as best I can, and use what we can to prevent this from happening in the future. So I'll bring you back once I get some supplies to clean this. I have this little spin brush here, so we're gonna try to clean this up a bit. This is working okay. I'm really worried that all of them are going to be like this. But I have no idea where this car came from, but I had to have seen some salt in this life. not the best, but I'm gonna go see if I can find another brush that's a little bit stiffer. Alright, so this is gonna be about the best I can get it. Then we're gonna go ahead and spray this down with some brake parts cleaner. And it made a mess on the floor. So what's down here is like rust and like brake dust, but these are like pretty bad for this climate. And I still need to clean this caliper bracket. And this is like surface rust, but it doesn't seem like it's near as bad as the rotor and the hub assembly. I have some of this, and I'm gonna spray this on here to try to prevent this next time. And I'm just getting this as best I can, so there isn't any future issues, hopefully. This right here is the new rotor. I'm pretty sure this is the correct one. As far as it being the front. But we're gonna go ahead and put this on here. Actually, I want to spray the outside of this as well. That doesn't probably matter, but it helps it stand any type of better chance than it did. I don't mind doing that. Alright, so that's the new rotor, and we're gonna go ahead and put this retainer bolt back in. And it doesn't have to be super tight. It's lit. I'm pretty sure it's just here to like hold the rotor in place. Alright. And we still need to clean up this bracket. And we're also gonna have to clean up the caliper a little bit as well. But let's try. Let's go ahead. So this is what I got. It's better than it was. Not perfect, but definitely better than what it was. Alright. I'm also gonna go ahead and spray this rotor off with brake cleaner because there's like a protective film on this. so the caliper is pretty dirty. It's not like super rusty or anything, but I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. And I'm gonna use this old brake to depress this the pistons in some more, so whenever we install the new brakes, it won't be as hard to place over like it was trying to pull it off. Trying to make do with what tools I have. Alright, and hopefully that depressed enough. And let's check out the new brakes to make sure they came with the hardware. Okay. And they do. So we can throw away this hardware. This one that's on this caliper bracket. And it just pulls out just like that. And let's clean up this mating surface as well. They're not bad. Like I said, they weren't that bad, but we cleaned them up a little bit. And let's see which brakes in the front and the rear. So the big ones are going to go in the front, most likely because it's front wheel drive. So these are the brackets. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on. And they go in, you just press them in. Alright, so that one's in. I should probably make sure these are the same on both, like the top and the bottom. And it looks that way. So Just press them in. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So we want to take these caliper pins out, make sure they're greased. And this one looks pretty well greased, but looks pretty old. But I don't know, they seem like they might be fine. What you don't want to see is like rust in it. And you also want to see some type of grease on it as well. So I'm gonna check this other pin out and pull this little boot down. And we just pull it out. This one looks like it has plenty of grease on it. I don't know if this is supposed to be like this color or not, but it seems like there's plenty of it on here, so probably just gonna leave it alone. You just press it down, and then it goes back over, the rubber goes back over the sleeve. And we're gonna do the same with this one, and it just goes back over. On second thought, since this compound, this silicone came with this right here, came with the brakes, I might as well just go ahead and use it for these caliper pins. We're also gonna put a little bit on the brakes, but we shouldn't need that much on them. Hopefully it doesn't rust again. I'm just gonna stick this back in here like before. And I'm just putting a little bit on it, not much. Some right there. And these are the brakes right here, the new ones. You don't want to get any grease on the actual brakes, of course, because that's where you're stopping the vehicle at, and you don't want any grease to be on it. But we are going to go ahead and put the caliper bracket back on the vehicle. We're gonna hang the top of the caliper back up. Alright. So let's put it over here. It won't go here. Okay. Alright. And it goes this way. And these are going to be the two big bolts, one with Loctite on it. Pretty sure there's some torque rating on it. I don't know it, but it should be fine as long as we get it tight as we can get it. Alright, so we're gonna get the brakes, and so we're gonna go ahead and use some of that silicone and put on a few of the pressure points so it doesn't sort of move properly, and so it doesn't seize up at some point if it decides to rust again. put some on the back as well. Alright. So we're gonna place this one on the back side of the caliper and make sure we don't get any of this silicone on the actual brake pad surface. And we're just gonna slide it in. And it goes just like that. And we're gonna do the other one as well. And they really don't put a whole lot of silicone in this. Might end up needing some more. I was gonna get some extra, but I said I'd just wing it this time. We still have to do a whole other side with this same pack. Alright, so this one, we're gonna turn it this way, and we're gonna slide it in these little slots. Alright. It just slides in just like that. So I'm gonna put a little bit of silicone on this caliper here, the pistons right here, and this is just so the brake doesn't stick to it. So we should be ready to put the caliper back over it, and once we get everything torqued down, that'll be it for this front. And then we'll do the rear, and then I'll do the other two off camera, and then we'll do the we'll have to do a wear-in procedure. And it's pretty simple, but we're gonna go ahead and put this caliper back on, and we'll get to that when we get to it. Alright, so now that we got all this back together, we are going to go ahead and get rid of this trash, the old brake, and clean up some of this stuff so we can move on to the rear. I also need to put the tire back on. And you will not believe how many tools I have out. This is actually ridiculous. This is a lot to clean up. For that wheel, and let's move on to the back one. It looks like it's going to be rusty again. go ahead and get started on this one. This one should be about the same. Except, let's hope this one is much easier, but I'm pretty sure it's not. This is like really rusty. Great. Well, let's get started. Alright, so the back one isn't a 13 millimeter that holds the caliper bracket. It seems like it's it might be in millimeters, but not millimeters, metric. But we will see. There's also slightly less room to work back here, so that's gonna be great. It is a 14 millimeter. Not sure why it's different. Probably because it's smaller. So we got this one broke free. These seem like they might be a little crunchy too. Oh, forgot this is a thing. If you're only changing the brakes, but we're doing brakes and rotors. And this one wants to fall right off, so we're off to a good start. Let's put this bolt back in slightly so we can get this other one loose. Got it loose. Alright, here's the bottom. Here's the top. And here is the caliper that slides right off. Wow. And this one is slightly rusty inside. You might not be able to tell, but this darkness is rust. So but anyway, we're gonna go ahead and hang this up so we don't damage this brake hose. Alright, let's see if we can break the caliper housing off, or the bottom part of the caliper. This is it right here. And I guess it looks like it might be the same size as the front, the boat. And it's just as hard. Great. Let's go ahead and loosen the bottom. I said, there's less room on the back side. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Yes. But this caliper seems pretty dirty as well, rusty. So we're gonna have to do some cleaning on it as well. Hopefully the rotor doesn't give me trouble like before. I've never dealt with a car that was rusty. Like I said, it's not a thing that's usually in this area. But this boat had Loctite on it as well, orange. And so, yeah, that's the caliper. The brakes are still in it. And that's the other boat. So we're going to take these brakes out. And lo and behold, these brakes are really good as well. But they were squealing. Or at least squeaking, not squealing, because the wear indicator isn't even like close. But there is a lot of like brake dust. I replaced these brakes when we first got the car, and it's been what, 3 years, maybe 4, but I think 3. And for 3 years, that's like pretty good. And but I didn't go with the factory ones. This time I did, so hopefully they don't squeal. Hopefully the rotors go good. These are also the GM factory rotors. It's a GM right here and a part number. But yeah, this, I'll bring it over here. All right, so this rotor as well has the screw right here. So we're gonna go ahead and take that out. And should probably put the emergency brake on this, but we should be fine. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, that's the boat. And it's seized. Great. And there's just rust steady falling out of it. Got it. So it's worked a little bit better. I pulled towards me and hit it with the hammer. So now it's actually loose. It's just rust flying out of it. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this. But so this is the rotor. It's rusty on the inside. This is why it was hard to come off, because it receives 2D hub assembly. But and rust is like falling out of it. So we're gonna do the same thing we did on the first one, the front. And all right, I don't know if you guys can see that. All right, let's bring you on this side. Maybe the lighting is causing some issues. All right, so you can see that pretty well. So this is the parking brake assembly right here. We're just gonna clean that up a little bit. We're just gonna spray brake cleaner on it. And we're gonna also try to get some of this rust off like we did on the front one. This one is not as bad like on the outside of the hub assembly, but right here is pretty bad. So we're gonna get some brake cleaner and try to clean some of this brake dust and rust out. I have brake cleaner, and we're gonna try to clean some of this up. This is so gross. Check that out. Rust and brake dust. Ugh. Alright, in the meantime, while this is drying, we can clean up some of this caliper bracket. It's not as bad as the front one, but still gonna clean it up a little bit because there's quite a bit of grime right there, rust, brake dust. I can go ahead and take these clips off as well, because the other set also has a pair of them. I need to be careful not to tear this boot, rubber boot right here. Alright, that's probably about the best I can get with the tools I have. So all of this is dry now, and I'm just going to go ahead and spray it with this right here. Again, this is so it doesn't rust in the future or continue to rust, but hopefully it has a better chance this time. Get the new rotor, which is right here. We're just going to place it back on. And like so. And we're going to put this retaining screw back in. we're having to hold this rotor because it's front wheel drive, so the rear is in neutral, basically. Alright, that should be good enough. I'm gonna spray this a little bit more with this. So right here, I didn't get that good. And let's wipe that off. Alright, so we're gonna spray it again, or spray this with the brake cleaner to get all this rust preventative stuff off. Just gonna wipe it off. And we're also gonna do the back. The front one I couldn't do the back all the way because it doesn't spin. No, I'm gonna spray myself in the face if I don't move. Let's just wipe it off. Alright, now let's get the caliper bracket back on. Wait, no, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, the same as before, these pins, we're gonna have to make sure they're greased real good and, you know, everything. So, we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. Seems like it probably is good. I can hear the grease in it. Yeah, it has quite a bit in it. It's fine. It's like 2 different types of grease in it though. Oh well, seems to be doing fine to me. Just gonna check the other one now. Same deal, 2 different types of grease in it, orange one and a black one. But looks good to me. So we're just gonna push that back in, it moves freely, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this one back on. Idiot. Alright, so it's the big bolts again. It goes back in for the bracket. Go ahead and tighten that up. We can go ahead and put our hardware in for the brakes. Probably should have put these on ahead of time, but I didn't. So in the back, there's going to be small brakes. And we're gonna have to put silicone on these as well. And we're gonna just put it on the corners of this, and then instead of putting it on the back of these, I'm just gonna put it on the back of the the caliper bracket on the piston, because that's going to be the only touch point that's going to be touching on the back. So instead of putting it all over the back of the surface and it getting all dirty, it'll just be in that one circle where the piston is. Alright, so this goes on front, the wear indicator goes on the back. It just slides in like that. Alright, we're going to do the same to this one with the wear indicator. Alright, so we're going to get the top of the caliper, and this is the spot where the piston is. This is what I was saying about putting just the silicone on it instead of the whole back of the brake. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna put it back on. And here we're gonna have to push this the piston back because it won't fit over the new brakes. So we're just gonna put the old one on, and we're gonna press it in. You just press it in until it goes back. They actually make a tool. There's a tool that's made for this. I don't have it because I don't do this enough to warrant getting it. Alright, so I had to depress the piston, got it back on, and now we're going to put the 2 bolts back in the top of the caliper. And then I'm going to do the other side off camera, and then we'll do the wear-in procedure, which may not be necessary, but if it helps the brakes last longer and or not like get any heat spots in the rotors, I'm gonna take that chance, because this stuff still wasn't cheap. It was pretty expensive, but could have been worse, I know. All right, so I got the brakes done, and I got the car back down, and so I guess we got to do the break-in procedure. But first we need to start the car and pump up the brakes because all the calipers got pushed back, recessed back in there inside the what's the word I'm looking for? Inside of the caliper housings. So pumping the brakes back up pushes them up into, close to the actual brake calipers. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna pump the brakes up a little bit, and I'll bring you along for the braking procedure. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the car, and we're going to pump the brakes up, and we're just gonna hit the brake pedal a few times. All right, I'm gonna try turning the car off and then do it again until they stop. All right, so it stopped. I'm gonna start it again. All right, let's pump some more. All right, so that should be good enough as far as pumping it goes. I'm going to see if the fluid went down any in the reservoir, brake reservoir. And it didn't. Still full, dirty. Not too bad though. You can, it's still translucent. But we'll close that. And we will get started on the braking procedure. So basically, the braking procedure consists of getting up to speed to 35 miles an hour, and then apply medium brake pressure and slow down to 5 miles an hour without coming to a complete stop. And you're going to want to do that 2 to 3 times. All right, after that first step, you're going to go to your second step, and then you're going to drive to 55 miles an hour. All right, and then you're going to do strong braking without coming to a complete stop and without causing your traction control or ABS to engage. And you're going to do that, or you're going to also you're going to do strong braking to 5 miles an hour without the ABS coming on and without coming to a complete stop. And you're going to do that 4 to 5 times. Then after that, you're going to drive 5 to 10 minutes without coming to a complete stop to let the rotors cool down. And then you're going to go where you're going, and then let the car rest for an hour. And that's going to let the rotors cool off. And this whole thing, the whole reason for doing this is to is so you don't put any heat spots in the rotors, which will cause vibrations in the brake pedal of the car, and so it doesn't wear out your rotors or brakes quicker than it should, and then all of this work will be a waste because you would need new rotors or brakes or both. So we're gonna try to do this the right way, and so actually I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and I'll bring you back once I complete it, because I don't want to mess this up, and I also need to be safe while doing it. So I'll bring you back once it's done, and I'll let you know how the brakes feel. Prior to the brakes being done, they were pulsating. I assume because of the rotors, because the brakes look fine, but there was also squealing going on too. So the brakes probably, the quality of the brakes probably weren't the best. They weren't OEM, but anyway, I'll bring you back once I'm done. I'll let you know how it went, and I'll let you know how the brakes feel. All right, I am back from the braking procedure. It went well, no issues. I do find it funny that whenever I'm trying to do a braking procedure, then there wants to be a magical amount of people in the area that I live in, which is never a lot of people around. But it probably was just the time of day, a lot of people getting off work and stuff. But yeah, everything went well. The break-in procedure was pretty straightforward. No issues, no complete stops, which is one of the main things it was saying not to do. But um, so that being said, that's gonna conclude this video. Uh, Thanks for coming along with me on doing a brake job, well, brake and rotor job. Uh, I don't know what the next project's gonna be. I guess you're just gonna have to wait and see. But thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.